All right, so it is Saturday now. Hopefully I can get a little bit of progress done today. The guy that wants this cab is coming. Well, he's supposed to be coming. I really hope he does come because I want this cab out of here so I can get started on the old crew cab over there. But anyway, I'm about to start the old crew cab up, chain to this, drag it outside, and then I'm gonna hook up the pressure washer. I didn't want to put it out there yet because then it's gonna be in the way. I moved all the rigs over there. Got the plastic stuff out here that I'm gonna wash. So I cleaned up this stuff a little bit. There's still a bunch of random stuff on that table. We got an absolute disaster in here. Yeah, I got the weight bench piled up on top of. It's just a mess. It's just a mess. Hopefully this is one of the last videos of this thing being a C60. Ow. But it does fire right up. It's cold outside. I shut her off. I saw a spark coming out of here. I want to know what that is. I saw it last time too. Well, who knows? I put the mirror back on that side. Looks like it's a little bit out of adjustment. Well, she is a floater now. Now, hopefully I can get this thing out of here ASAP. Look at this wide old girl sitting out here. Big wide diesel go-kart. So, I'm gonna get the old pressure washer out. I did something real stupid. I stuck that steering column in there and didn't have that bolt in, and I just started cranking to turn it, and it opened this U-joint connection up. It just spread it wide open. It screwed it all up, and it was, this side was further down than that side. It like pushed them opposite, so the hole didn't line up anymore. So I was beating on that for a while with a hammer. So that was really stupid on my part, but it is together now, at least. I'll have to take the steering column off. I'm not gonna let it get wet. And I don't really want this thing getting rained on, but it's starting to sprinkle. That thing will go in the garage for sure if it starts sprinkling any harder than it is right now. But the plan now is to hook up the pressure washer, get this thing pressure washed, and I'm gonna have to drag it somewhere. This is gonna be a difficult process, I'd say. I'm definitely gonna have to have another guy here, and he's gonna have to steer this thing or drive whatever we're using to pull it. This thing is absolutely terrible to pull. Like, I was literally hitting the brakes all the way to the floor and it's still rolling backwards. So, and I was pumping the brakes. You gotta pump the brakes on these old C60s. So anyway, yeah, it's this is a mess. Well, I couldn't do a time lapse. A, because it's raining. B, because my phone was about dead. and I gotta go somewhere here in a bit. Anyway, yeah, so there's that rusty area. I guess that's a poorly designed spot, because that was completely filled with crap. It was like this thing had concrete on it. So, I mean, like all down in there, and everything basically was like concrete. Like the thin layer of concrete you get when it's just like a skim. It's pretty much like that. Well, it did come pretty clean. It's not perfectly rust free, but I think it definitely is a lot better than any second gen frame I could have got. Looks like I missed right there. I knew I was going to miss something. I already put the pressure washer away. A little bit on that muffler, missed. Don't matter. Probably going to be straight piping this. Everything's bagged up. Let's see. It don't look like it's got any water in the bottom of it. I tore a hole in the bottom of everything else. This one miraculously did not have water in it. That one don't have water in it, don't look like. And neither does that one. Cool. But yeah, this that one was open. That one had quite a bit of water. That one was the one that was full. That one had a little bit of water in them too. So let's see. I mean, yeah, that thing's got like some dirt speckled on it, but it's not like wet up in there. It doesn't seem like. Let's actually look in there. Yeah, the actual plug is dry, so that's good. Well, this does look like a new transmission, so maybe that dude wasn't lying. Made in the US of A. So yeah, there she is. This is the old 6.7 crew cab long bed, 4th gen 2010 frame. Looks pretty good, really. Nice and wide. Now, I'm gonna need a helper to pull it forward while I steer, or vice versa. And we'll have to get it out of the way so that way I can back a trailer straight in here under this majig. So, the old blue truck has almost lived out her service as a C60. Well, I'd say that's a good example of working with what you got and not making any freaking excuses. I had no idea how that was going to go down when I started this, but we made it happen. Had to lower it a little bit with these, then take the floor jack and lower it a little more. You know, obviously the lift would have been easier, but you know, I think I've only got like an hour in this, and we got her down, and I managed to make barely enough room to put the truck bed on here. That is over the tongue of the trailer just a hair. So jacking that jack, I'll take this cross member piece off. I put it back on just to hold the hood. But yeah, I'll take that cross member out, jack it up. And yeah, now hopefully I can pull this thing out and get the rest of this junk on here. All right, so here we are. This bed is completely out of my weight range, so I'm gonna leave it be before I get myself hurt or worse. I was trying to pull it over with that ratchet strap. So obviously that thing's 2 feet taller than me and probably 400 pounds heavier than me. So probably wouldn't be a good thing if that all fell on me. So we're just gonna leave it alone. I got 2 people supposedly coming over later. We'll see if they actually show up. So now I gotta play musical pieces of junk again. I'm really ready to get this out of here. Honestly, I'll drive that to work tonight if I can get all this crap out of the way. So here's where I'm at with the mess. I am going to drive the C60. This will be the last time, I believe, that it's ever gonna be a C60. So I'm going to drive it and park it somewhere out of the way, like right here, I guess, and then pull that truck up or whatever, and then pull a C60 forward and back it in the garage, and then that's it. It's gonna get taken apart later today. I think I'm gonna find out real fast that it's a bad idea to drive this truck because the brakes are bad, but this is it, man. This is the last time this is gonna be a C60. It fires up good though. The dually wheels, only on this one side though. All right, let's put it in high range. I mean, we got brakes, I guess, but not very good. Well, here it is. Here's where we got to tonight. Man, I feel like we actually got something done for once. We got the Dodge cab down on the trailer. Got all the crap loaded into the cab that we could on the Dodge. And then drove this thing down the street, then backed it in here. I think I did the real smart thing of driving it with my transmission tunnel out. And I had some tools and a box of washers and, well, they're not in here anymore. So, that was intelligent. Kind of surprised. I did this, I put I-beams along the length of this thing, and so far, so good on my doors. They ain't any more screwed up than they were before. I mean, they certainly weren't perfect to start with. And, you know, honestly, that's good. I got the wheels off back here. It's sitting on the drums. I'm just going to drag it out just like that. Got the bed floating. It's a very precarious, sketchy situation, I think. The next thing I'm going to do, I got the I-beam there all the way across. That's going to be wide enough to get that out. So when I come out here tomorrow, what I'm going to do, oh, I got so much space. This is good, though. I mean, I got one full garage bay, one open garage bay over there. I'm thinking I may, once I get the orange truck out, I still got that truck bed outside. But once I get the orange truck out, it'll go back over there. And I may just pull that frame back in here if I can. And put the rollers back under the wheels and then push it straight under this if I can even do that. Which these things will still be there. I don't know. I can hang it maybe. We'll see. We'll see. All four doors still open. So I must not have destroyed this thing. This one's doing better than it was earlier. I mean, lifting it up like this made that one happier than it was. So, I don't know. Apparently it tweaked it some because that door is different than it was. But I got this thing sitting for the time being. What I was going to say is I'm going to take these wheels off, lower it all the way down, maybe just to the axle thing, and just drag it out. I mean, I'm going to need this as low as I can get it because I got to get the shifters out through there too. And I took 2 bolts out of this thing over there on each side, and it's still attached. I hope it's not spot welded, but I haven't got under there to look yet. Hopefully it's just bolted and I can take that out, because I remember having to take that out on the orange truck. Maybe I cut it. I don't remember, but I mean, that is a structural piece. Either way, it needs to be gone. I can't be having that in here. So get the shifters out tomorrow, and hopefully drag this thing out and put the wheels back on it, and drag it into the field behind the garage somewhere. All right, I'm back at it on this project. I finally texted the farmer behind me with the skid steer, and so I'm gonna go get that later. There's no way I'm gonna be able to load this truck bed on my own. I could pull this out of here on my own with the other truck, but it's gonna make it easier to push it behind the garage back there in the woods somewhere. If I have a skid steer, I'll just put the forks under this axle and just pivot it and just pick the whole front end up basically and just carry it like that. Pivot it on the rear axle. So I took my bumper mounts off. This side was designed by somebody who was intelligent. It had 3 bolts in it. Okay, they were fine thread for whatever reason. And this side was designed by somebody that wants to be a pain in the you know what. So it was riveted together. So I ground off the top 2 rivets. I thought I'd be able to beat this with a hammer, but I started beating on it, and this thing is cracked. And I mean bad too. It goes all the way down. So the orange truck had this bumper mount from the orange truck. It was mutilated. Somebody had taken a torch to cut these out, and it was just wide gaping holes. So I remember one point I filled those back in with some new metal and drilled some brand new holes to match the one that wasn't mutilated. So I'm going to try not to mutilate this one, but it looks like it's going to need some fab work done on it for sure, because this big crack all the way along the length of it Whole thing might be garbage. Like, I'm surprised. That's impressive. This is a big piece of steel to be cracked like that. But sure enough, man, it is done for. It's pretty good. So I'm gonna see if I can bust this rivet out before I go and beat on this anymore. I think those are out enough that I can get this thing out, but we'll see. Well, this piece has got cracks going up from that rivet. It's got them going all the way down the bend of it, and another crack going up from that hole. So I wonder what the heck happened to this. I mean, if it was in a wreck, it'd probably be deformed, but I guess 59 or 60 years of vibration maybe, or just being old steel. One of my buddies did say that old steel cracks easier, and I didn't know if that was true or not, but I guess this proves that. All right, so I had the front lowered, had to lift it back up to get this jack under there because I had to lift this truck another cinder block's worth. It's higher in the front than the back. The back's not the issue. It's flat out hanging from the rafters. But the front, with there being nothing out here from above to hang it from, I've got to use this I-beam. And that I-beam, even on top of 4 cinder blocks and some 2x4s, is just barely high enough to clear that dump cylinder. So it may not be high enough, honestly, but I put it behind the shifter. That's the only other tall thing up there. This is starting to sketch me out. This is way higher than I wanted it to be. This is higher than the Dodge was. So, I mean, she is up here solid. She's getting kind of close up there, though. Yeah, so far so good. Door's still open. That one's hitting the front door because it is in fact wonky. See how far it is pushed in. It won't come back out. So I don't know. That door's been a freaking mess. It just needs adjusted. There's gonna be some things that need reworked on this without a doubt. So, oh yeah, I was able to get that piece out just by beating on it. It did rip a little bit of the floor out where it spot welded. Or is that? It did rip a little bit of the floor, but nothing too bad. Nothing that I can't fix. Yeah, I don't know, man. This is precarious and sketchy. I'm ready to get this done and over with. Because if this thing falls, I'm going to go into a state of depression, I would say. Well, there she is. She is out. This thing is heavy, man. Wonder how much just this frame weighs. Look at that stack of leaf springs, man. I'm sure that dump cylinder's not light. This frame is a thick boy. Yeah, so we cleared. Nothing fell. I'm gonna put some nice little stripes in my thing. The center one's from the differential on the Dodge, and these 2 are from the drum brakes, so looks good to me. Who cares? Now, I need to do the old speedy process of putting these wheels back on and getting this thing somewhere. Oh boy, that's the wheel off the jack. Well, that's good. All right, well, that's just another fantastic problem. Gotta love it. This is the lineup of junk that I have. It's gonna be a few days before I get a hold of the skid steer, it seems like, so just gonna have to be patient in the meantime. For good measure, for good safety measure, stacked these blocks up back here and took the last I-beam that I have and stuck some blocks under there. And it's got a little bit of the tension out of it. It's being halfway supported by the rafters and this, I'd say, but just back up. I don't want it falling. That'll be a bad day. So I guess in the meantime, I got plenty of cleaning to do. So I didn't video anything that I did today. Now it's the end of the night. I cleaned up a bunch of the crap that was on this table. I had this hoist off for a while and I was rolling around under there. That worked out good. It's high enough to do that. But I wire wheeled the whole bottom of this thing. Well, from there over to pretty much that one. Just the center, really, is all I wire wheeled. I did do a little bit of this one just to make it easier when the time comes and I have those rockers done, because I'm going to paint it like I did the other side. But anyway, I wire wheeled the firewall. It's smooth. I'm thinking that I may paint it before I lower it, but I'm not sure. You know, I'm gonna have to cut and hack over here wherever the new stuff goes in. But anyway, yeah, so I just primed it. I cleaned it with acetone and then I primed a little bit of it, just like a skim coat of primer. You can still see the metal under it, but I did that just so that way it'd stick a little better. And then I used the black gloss paint that I had and painted until I ran out of paint. So I had a hodgepodge of 3 different kinds. It's all Rust-Oleum, but it was a little bit different. But anyway, yeah, so get some more spray paint tomorrow and pick back up. So it's gonna be, ow, that was my head, man. Ow. So it's gonna be Friday that I get the skid steer over here, which is good. I was getting all impatient and cracking out like I always do, where I get in too big of a hurry. And so this gives me time to slow down and concentrate on some things that are actually important while this is lifted up. Like it's been sitting here 2 days now. It's not going to fall. I know I was worried about that, but as long as I don't hit it or do something stupid, it's not going to fall. But that's giving me time to get this painted. I'm going to paint to this line, this body line right here. And, well, I didn't wire wheel that, but, yeah, I'll just paint to that for now. And, you know, whenever I go to put the blue paint on the firewall, that's going to be the color of the truck. I'll just tape a nice straight line along that edge, have a nice transition, nice straight line transition. And all this will be covered by the fender, so it doesn't really matter. Well, I guess down here, all that's going to be black. All that up there will probably be blue, probably. Anyway, this is covered too with that little valence piece, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, this thing's multicolored right now, so we'll get her cleaned up though.